It's a bit smaller than I expected, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So this is a 6mm grooving blade I bought on Amazon, and I had to wait ages for it to come. I tracked it online as it passed through various countries of Europe and eventually arrived in the UK. Okay, let's load it into the saw and we'll have a go with it. Seems to be balanced okay. Let's find a little bit of scrap wood and we'll just put a couple of grooves in and see how it cuts. Okay, so that's our test cut. There's a couple of things that concerns me. First of all, if I'm trying to cut a rebate or a groove quite close to the fence, then the blade could actually dig into the fence. Now, of course, that's an issue with any blade. But not so much when you've got the riving knife on the back and the crown guard. So I think before I make anything else, I'm going to make a sacrificial fence that sits on this, and then actually if I do just either cut too far, I cut into the sacrificial fence, or actually just in case if I want to make a cut that's say 3, 4, 5mm, I can have a little bit of it stuck into the sacrificial fence. Now the other issue as well is, because it's not got a riving knife on, there is no way on this particular saw to put a crown guard on it as well. So I think I'm going to incorporate a crown guard or some kind of guard over the top of the blade onto the sacrificial fence. And of course, when you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you see people using the dado blades in their saw. And in the UK you don't tend to see a lot of dado blades being used, and I think there's two reasons for that. Certainly number one reason is a saw of this size isn't powerful enough to run a dado blade with. I think this is a 40, it's actually an 1850 watt motor, but I still don't think that the dado blade would be good on a motor so small. Probably if it were a 3 horsepower motor, something like that, it would be okay. Secondly, the arbor is too short, so you can't actually mount a dado blade onto it. And I think it's too short again because of the actual characteristics of this machine being quite small. But secondly, in the UK, from what I read in the old Woodworking Acts, which I think is 1973, 1974, if I remember rightly, when I was at Joinery College all them years ago, or in the new Health and Safety Executive, the HSE, they always recommend having a crown guard on the top. And if you're running a dado, a wide dado fence, then I don't think effectively you can actually run with a crown guard and a riving knife, certainly with a riving knife on the back, because the riving knife 2-3mm thick, and obviously the dado blade's 18mm thick. So there is chance of, so because these are production made machines by DeWalt in this case, and because of the regulations, and DeWalt don't know when they make these saws if it's going to be in professional use or home use as I use it, I think they make it with the intention that you can't fit a dado blade on it for that reason. Now if you think that's not the case and I'm missing a point here, then please leave me a comment below and just let me know. I'm quite interested to find out. But for this case I'm actually going to make a sacrificial fence, and I'm going to make it with some kind of blade guard over the top, and also I think I'm going to put a groove in as I have in my router fence, so I can mount my feather boards, which will give me some anti-kickback protection. Before I make anything else with this blade, the first job is to make a sacrificial fence. you are. Cuts very well. Certainly seems, compared to a standard saw blade, it just seems a monster spinning around there. So I'm glad I've made this little sacrificial fence, a couple of feather boards, and just this block of wood here. I know it's not pretty, but it's functional. It just means I can't drop my hand on the blade. Probably need to come up with something a bit better than that later, but for now I'm happy with it. I made a little box just to test it out. The groove, the 6mm groove's perfect for 6mm MDF. I'm sure it's same for plywood as well, and also helps me organise my drawers, which are a little bit out of hand. So I keep getting asked for a shop tour. One of the reasons I've not done that yet is, to be fair, I'm a little embarrassed about how messy it is up here. So I'm trying to tidy up, and I'm just in a little midst of a little swap around. I think one thing about working in a really small shop is you've got to keep everything fluid. So I've taken a couple of my carts apart, and I'm in the progress of rebuilding them, which you'll get to see in future projects. And once that's done, I'll give you a tour of the shop. If you have any questions, please jot them down in the comments below, and hopefully, if you've not already subscribed to my channel and you find it useful, then please do. And until the next project, we'll see you soon. Bye. The main reason I bought this blade is I want to make a finger joint jig. Whether I'll make a video about that or not, I'm not quite sure yet. YouTube seems to be awash with finger joint jig projects, so either I'll stay clear of that one, or maybe I'll join them, who knows.